Hi guys, good evening. This is Toppr.com. We're bringing you a webinar exclusively with us, our top rankers from AIIMS. We have with us Navsheen and Aditya. Navsheen and Aditya, you want to introduce yourselves?
Myself, Navsheen Singal. I'm a first year student at AIIMS New Delhi and I secured AIIMS rank 1 and AIPMT rank 16. And today I'm here with you to answer to all your doubts and queries you have regarding your examination, any stress relevant, anything of that sort.
I'm Aditya Mishra. I'm from Bhubaneswar, Odisha. I'm also pursuing MBBS from AIIMS New Delhi. My AIIMS rank was 6th last year and my IT rank was 337. So today, me and Navsheen will try to answer all of your queries, all of your questions, try to suggest you methods to perform well in the upcoming exams of AIIMT and AIIMS. So put up your questions in the chat boxes and let's begin.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Guys, again, as a reminder, as Aditya just pointed out, there's a chat window where you can all ask your questions, and we will try to respond to as many questions as we can. If we can't give you an answer live, we'll make sure that we put together your questions and send you answers right after this. We understand that there's a lot of you who want to ask questions. Please fire away. We'll try to answer your questions as well as we can. Okay, Navsheen and Aditya, the first thing that most people want to know, right? There's a little bit of time left, and everybody has to prepare for their exams. The date is coming close. What's your advice to guys to do in the last few weeks?
Yeah, as we know, exam is around the corner and hardly 10 days are left. So, what my advice is you is do not focus on covering each and every topic at the moment. You have read for 2 years, just be confident of whatever you have read and focus on those topics which you don't have very nice grip on, or you think that that needs a bit of a cramming or certain revision. Focus only on that part. So, what would you like to say?
Yeah, there's 15 days left for the AIIMT exams, right? So you need to step up your preparations. This is your last hurdle. You need to cross it. You don't need to fall down right now. So what you need to do is put in extra hours of effort and read the topics which you might have missed during your preparation through the last 2 years. That's what you need to do right now.
Even if you are not confident about some topics, so maybe you are not able to read the theory at the moment, you may feel stressful. So rather than going through the theory, just pick up some questions, read 50 or 100 of them, you'll get a basic idea of the chapter, and I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Tejas is asking a question. He wants to know which books he should refer to or which books he should focus on in the last few days.
Hi Tejas. In the last few days, concentrate mostly on your NCRTs. That's really important. NCRT biology, NCRT chemistry, most of all. Apart from that, if you are thorough enough in your NCRTs, go through some of the formulae, some of the important concepts from your reference books or your notes.
The most important thing I would say is like when only 10 days are left, I won't suggest you that you pick up any new book to you. Like you won't be able to go through whole of it, and hardly reading 10 pages won't make any difference to your preparations. So at the moment, you should just focus on revising whatever you have already read, all the key points that you have underlined, all the notes that you have. Just go on that. You may be feeling that you don't know anything or you have a fear, but believe me, once the question comes in front of you, you would be able to answer. It happens with everyone, but you have studied, just have confidence in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try anything new right now. Focus on revising.
Great, guys. So Archana and Deepu have actually pointed something that you just referred to.
Yeah.
They seem to be very nervous and they're very afraid of the exam, right? Do you have any tips on how to stay calm, how to stay focused, how to relax during the exam? What is your strategy? How should you face this nervousness and fear?
Yeah, that's quite natural. Like during last days of my preparation, I was afraid too much. Like every 3 or 4 hours, I got bombed up. Like now I cannot do anything. I need to sleep or something of that sort. That happens with everyone. Don't take stress about it. It's natural. What I did to relieve my stress was I generally gave up reading theory and started to do questions. As I went on doing more and more questions, I realized that okay, I know this thing, and that helped me really a lot to build up confidence. Or the second thing that it was did was to take up random mock tests. just completed one mock test, and then I could analyze myself on the spot. Like, okay, this topic is weak. This is I'm confident about. So that like it helped me create a balance for myself. Like not much fear, but preparations also. They were like
Yeah, exactly. Listen, guys, the most important thing is you have been practicing real hard for the last 2 years, right? So don't let stress get to you on the last 15 days of your exams. Now, take up some of your stress boosters. For example, for me, it was music. So I used to listen for about 5 minutes of music for after completing about 3 hours of study or so. So do something like that that takes away your stress. Don't let stress get to
yeah.
you in these last 15 days.
You may sleep like I prefer sleeping up to 4 to 5 hours just for half an hour or something like that. Don't think that you are gonna waste a lot of a time, precious time. You 2 years you have studied, and this is like the cream days. So utilize them fully and just study thoroughly
Yeah.
with extreme concentration. That's it.
Okay. Guys, this is a sort of technical question, but what sort of marks should people aim for if they want to crack AIMS, right? There's a question from Himanshu who wants to know what are the marks that he get into AIMS then.
In general, what I have seen from the past examination papers is that the maximum marks that can is of 200 AIMS question paper, and in general, a person who scores 140 plus can expect to get into AIMS. Now, there's a variation of plus minus 5, maybe 135. You That's based on the level of difficulty and your luck. But in general, 140 plus
That's a nice score,
is
yeah.
is a nice score. Yeah.
Keeping 140 plus ensures you get into AIMS
Like
early. Yeah.
you should keep in mind that if you want to get the names, at least you are attempting that much. If you're not attempting even 140, like then it's quite difficult. So at least try to attempt 170, 180 questions so that you have a margin of at least 20, 30 questions,
But
even
just
if they go wrong.
but don't just attempt questions for the sake of attending
Yeah,
questions.
that's
Like
important.
in AIMS, there's a lot of negative marks, so choose your questions well.
Yeah,
Be
but one
smart
third
about it.
negative is quite a lot. So
Yeah.
just don't go for random wild guesses. Think and then
Definitely.
answer. You would have a lot of time in names.
Okay, so guys, so that's a very good point you guys brought up that you should think about negative marking. So, what are the strategies for exam day? What do you think is how do you approach exam day, and what should you be thinking about? How should you plan your exam day? So, for example, there's a question somebody has asked here: which is the first subject that I should attempt in the exam? So, how did you face the exam, and what would you recommend to prospective
That
students?
actually depends on each and every student which subject
Exactly.
you are most comfortable with.
Okay.
For me, it was always to start with biology and end with physics because physics takes a lot of time, and for me, biology took the least amount of time.
And
I
also like you just have learned biology and you want to like whatever you have
Yeah.
marked up, just write it in the exam and that's it. You like 50% of the paper gets over in just 40 minutes. So like that's a huge tension reliever, I would say.
Yeah, but you want to start the paper on a high note, right? So if you're confident in biology, start it, attempt biology first, so that the first few questions that you come across, you actually know the answers to.
Yeah.
That will boost your confidence and help you answer the rest of the questions.
In general, the order that you may follow may vary. That's like not what we are. Both of us coincidentally follow the same pattern of biology, chemistry, and physics. But whatever it is, try to keep physics at the end because you need to give a lot of time. Sometimes you get stuck on one question and you want to solve it. If you do physics in the beginning, you may end up losing 10-15 minutes on just a single question. And in that greed of just solving one question, you may leave 15 questions of biology. So that's not, I would say, smart enough. You need to be strategic and smart while attempting a paper. No problem. If you don't know one question, leave it, but do not waste a lot of time on solving just a single question.
Yeah, it's very important to go through the paper once you get it from the invigilator so that you can assess the difficulty of each part. That's very important so
Yeah.
that you can attempt it smartly.
Okay. So, guys, what sort of routine did you follow in the last few days? So there's one person who Sony who has asked us a question, and she's asking if studying 18 to 20 hours every day is healthy or unhealthy. So obviously there's a lot of pressure. So a lot of people will be working really hard. But what sort of routine did you follow leading up to the exam? You want to be fresh and ready for the exam on the day of the exam, right? So do you have any advice for how to take care of yourself?
In my case, during the last 7 to 10 days of my preparations, yeah, I too was under stress, so I wanted to study 15, 16 hours a day, work hard as much as I can. That's good enough, but I would say that just for the last 2 to 3 days, you take some rest. because your mind needs to calm down. If you are like, you need to have proper sleep, you know everything. But if you don't have your mind on a, like, it's not on a relaxed state, then you won't be able to put in your thoughts in your examination paper. Before exam, you need to have at least 8 hours of sleep. That was like, that's a thumb rule. Never ever skip on it. Like, you may leave one chapter, I would say, but never skip on the sleep part. That's really important for me.
Yeah, you need to stay sharp during the exams, right? Most of the exams take place from about 9 to 12 in the morning. So you need to ensure that in the last few days you are really awake and sharp during these hours. So, and what Navsheen said was very important. Don't start skipping on the sleep. Don't start having night outs just because of the exam. Because if you skip on your sleep, then it
Like, it,
harms you a lot. It
you'll be
affects
sleepy
your
during the examination. Like,
Exactly. So, great guys. So, people seem to have two specific subject questions, right? So, one is inorganic chemistry. So, a lot of people want to know how to remember reactions, formulae, structures in inorganic chemistry as well. And the other big bottleneck seems to be physics. A lot of people are scared of physics. They want to know if there are any specific tips for inorganic chemistry and physics, if you have them.
in organic chemistry, what is really important is in the last few days, go through your NCRTs. Most of the questions in AIMS as well as in AIPMT, they come directly from NCRTs. They focus mainly on NCRTs. What people usually do is they go through a lot of books. So the amount of knowledge, the amount of information really piles up. But what you need to do is you need to go through your NCRTs and memorize the things given in NCRTs. So that will make it easier for you and you'll score the, you know, score the marks efficiently.
whenever there's an exam, like, it's not just who is more knowledgeable in the exam. It's like who plays smart in the exam. So even if you know just 5 topics out of 10, but you're good enough on those 5 topics, then you may be scoring higher than a person who has read all the 10 topics, but still he doesn't have a clarity. So your focus should be stick to NCRT and just clarify all your concepts. Don't go for all the other books that maybe you have read in earlier in your 2 years of preparations, and there are very rare chances that any extra questions would be coming in your AIPMT and AIMS exam, specifically in inorganic chemistry.
For particularly for inorganic chemistry, if you have made notes, go through them once at least, and
Yeah.
go through NCRT as much as possible for inorganic chemistry, because there's a lot of cramming and stuff for inorganic chemistry. So the lesser the better in this case.
Yeah. And now, like, other question also is physics.
Physics.
Like, okay, physics is a bit of a scary subject, yes, but you can overcome your fear of physics just by practicing. You know the theory. There's not much in the theory. You know the formulas. Just like open any book, you open your notes, go through the formula, like an overview of just in half an hour or 1 hour. You can revise the chapter in only that much time, and then practice for 2 to 3 hours. Practice, start from the basics. No need to do much of the advanced question at this level, because now when only 10 days are left for AIPMT, and you know that AIPMT is not gonna ask many much like बहुत much difficult questions. They I have never seen in my like 25 to 30 years. I've checked the papers. Only basic questions, basic concepts. Just be strong on that. Basic practice, and I'm sure you will be able to crack the
So
exam.
since you have got 10 days remaining for the exams, what you can do if you're really struggling through physics is go through the last year papers and solve them, look at the solutions at least, and so that you get a sense
Confidence.
of yeah,
Yeah.
confidence while attempting, because in APMT mostly most of the questions are sort of repeated.
A lot of repetitions are there.
Okay. So, guys, Javed has a question, and actually, it's a similar question to what a lot of people want to know. So, they want to know when you answer a question, right? You obviously earlier said that there is negative marking, so you need to be careful about being sure about the answer, how much time you spend on it. So, two questions. One, how do you plan how much time you should spend on questions? Is there a strategy? Is there a logical way of thinking about that? Second thing is, how should you take it when you are not sure of the answer, when you think maybe the second option is right? That's Javed's question. So I think two options are right. Should I attempt it and take a chance, or should I just let it be? Right. So
I would like to say that when you begin with a paper, as we mentioned earlier, first of all, have a look at the paper, like how difficult it is, which part you are having problem in. And I used to do paper in 2 rounds. For the first round, I only attempted those questions which I am pretty sure of that, okay, these much questions I know and I'm damn sure that it would be 100% correct. For the first attempt, I spent only 1 minute on every question. Max to max for a physics question if I'm not able to solve 2 minutes. But even after 2 minutes, if I'm not able to get any of the answer, then leave the question. You'll save it for later. In around 2 to 2.5 hours, I was able to complete my first round of the paper. Now, when I had 30 to 45 minutes left, now I started with the second round and I just focused on the questions which are doubtful to me, which I thought may be wrong or I need to recheck these questions. And at that time, I just solved those questions.
What I did was, while going through the questions, if a question was known to me from earlier preparation, then I used to do it first. If not, I used to give it a thought whether the concept is coming to me or not. If not, I used to leave the question first. Then after, as Navsheen said, after first round of solving the questions, you come back to the questions you couldn't solve and then try solving them. As per leaving a question or not, whether to attempt a question or not, that's up to that depends a lot on how much questions you have attempted till
Yeah,
now and how much confident are you on those topics. Because guesswork is, I guess,
for
important for a
yeah.
MCQ exam, but since the negative marks is too high, you can't really afford to lose marks on
Yes,
guesswork.
sir. Like you have four options. If you have no idea about the question, just leave the question because there's no point in attempting it. But if you're just confused about two options, like either A or B, then I would say like okay, you can take chances because even that's a part of the competitive exam that you're appearing. That's a smart way of scoring. But just no by guesses. You can take some risk, but not all the risk. I would say.
Okay, all right. Guys, if someone does not crack AIPMT, is it possible for them to crack AIMS?
Yeah, definitely. When it AIMT and AIMS are completely different examinations. To be like honest, like AIMS has different types of questions.
But more of a conceptual and a logical kind of
Right?
questions.
Maybe that you have performed badly in AIPMT due to some reason. So you have still left with a month of preparation time. So don't lose hope. Start preparing a lot for AIMS. AIMS also has GK in it. So start studying for GK too if you've
Exactly now.
got time. Yeah. So and there's assess and reason questions. There are conceptual questions. So if you're clear on your concepts, so there won't be a problem in cracking names. Yes.
And even I have seen cases who were not able to score very much in
Yeah.
AIPMT exam. Although they had studied hard, they got into it, but still, as he said, just don't lose hope. It's nothing that if one exam goes back, the other has to go, or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Anything can happen.
A lot of results are based on luck actually, whether the
And how
questions,
smart you attempt the
yeah,
question paper.
whether the questions favor you or not sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, so on the point of GK, right? Are there some tips on how to prepare for GK? Because this is obviously
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
unique thing which is not there in a lot of exams and it's
Yeah.
something that you have to do specifically.
GK is probably AIMS is probably the one of the few exams that have GK in it, and most of you guys might not have prepared for GK like through the 2 years of 11th and 12th. But what you can do is after AIPMT, as soon as now before AIPMT, don't start reading GK now in the last 15 days. After AIPMT, what you can do is you can actually start reading GK from the small books available in various newspaper and magazine stores. Go through them, go through the current affairs section, and
Yeah.
practice the previous year questions a lot. That will help you in GK.
And as for GK, I would say that you should not stress much about GK that, oh, out of 20, I should at least attempt 15 or 20. That's not the criteria. GK is just for giving an extra edge. If you have a very good grip over your science, physics, chemistry, and biology, then I would say like you go light on GK. Like attempt, even if you are sure of 10 out of 20 questions, then I would say it's more than enough for you. Don't even attempt the rest of the 10. Don't take risks and just 2 to 3 hours of GK per day, that's enough, not
Yeah.
more than that.
Don't
Because
co-
science is also very, very important. That constitutes 90% of the exam. So first focus on that. As I said, even if you are able to score 140 plus, still you are into AIMS. So like even 10 questions of GK, then it would be sufficient for you to get into AIMS.
So it's important that you don't forget to prepare GK in
Yeah.
your last month, and don't do much of guesswork in GK because that really hampers your score in the end. Because most of the questions have like you.
They are confusing.
Yeah.
Like you would think that this might be the answer, but actually,
In GK there's a lot of chance of doing wrong, and So don't do much of guesswork.
Okay. Guys, just about, you already mentioned this a little bit, but this particular students, teachers in particular, seem to be very worried about out of syllabus questions, right? So, what's your advice on out of syllabus? Should people be even worried about that at all?
Like most of the questions in entrance examinations come from these syllabus that we are prescribed to, the NCRT syllabus. Okay, some of the there will be some questions that are out of syllabus, but in these last few days, focusing on them, but actually lower your scores on the syllabus that is coming from your textbooks, right? So it's important right now to focus on your prescribed syllabus.
And
NCRT.
you know that AIPMT, even if you see the previous year questions, out of 90 questions, like it's more than guaranteed that 85 would be from NCRT if you have read them thoroughly. I won't say that 85 line to line questions, but somewhere or the other, NCRT would have mentioned that concept. Only there are 3 to 4 questions that may be like totally out of NCRT.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there comes like which conference was, where the conference was held in this year.
Country and
So like don't worry about those questions. I would say because they are equally for everyone. I don't think any one of us was able to attend those types of questions. You get your 85 correct, and that's more than enough. Like, don't worry about those 5 questions. And maybe you have read a lot of text in your 2 years. When you see the question, maybe the answer clicks to you suddenly, like from at a subconscious level, you may be knowing the answer, but you may not be able to recall. But when you see the option, you would be able to answer it. So I would say stick to your syllabus of NCRT, and when you have the 1 month for AIMS, then you can go a bit towards your coaching notes where you have been taught extra. And that too, it's not that AIMS also ask a lot of here and like haywire questions. They also ask much of the prescribed syllabus.
Yeah. Okay, guys, this is a very important question actually. So, online versus offline, right? Did you guys give the offline test or the online test?
for
AIPMT it was offline for everyone, and AIMS it was online. And first, I felt that online would be a different concept. Maybe I won't be able to handle it or any such thing. But really, I would say it's much more easier than offline exam, and it doesn't require any kind of special practice. You will be given proper instruction at the examination center, and if you have just basic knowledge of the computers, how to open it, how to operate the mouse and the keyboard. The keyboard you don't even need the keyboard. You just need the mouse over there in the examination hall. So that won't be much of a problem. Rather, online exam would even help you save the time you spend on circling in your OMR sheets. Like 10 minutes you save in the online examination pattern. You can even correct your answer even if you answer wrong. So don't stress about that. That's very very simple.
it would be nice if you practice some of the online tests in various online portals.
Yeah, 1 or 2 times
If
you
could-
can practice,
yeah,
but nothing great. Like maximum 1 or 2 times, then you will give Manipal exam, AIM exam. So through that you'll be able to do that.
Okay. Guys, AIMS does not prescribe a syllabus, right?
Yeah.
So, but you guys are confident that NCRT is what you should focus on.
Yeah.
So, Somi has a question which he's asked repeatedly, which is what to do about the syllabus for AIMS. So, your suggestion is?
So like AIMS, what I was told was what AIMS writers like 11th class course, 12th class course plus basic knowledge of some undergraduate courses. So obviously you cannot do undergraduate courses that you have 5 years later in your life. So it's just that first focus on your NCRTs for biology I'm telling, and then afterwards you have been to coaching. You have there are certain books like Romance or Dinesh, which obviously everyone refers to during their preparation time. So specific points from those books you can pick up and just go through them so that you are able to do well in your exam. When you go through your previous year question, you get a general idea like this is from approximately 80% of the questions I'm able to do by reading only the basic, and 20% I'm able to do when I go a bit extra. So that extra part you should keep just for 1 month of AIMS preparation and revise your notes, whatever coaching tuition teachers they have taught you. Just don't go exploring by yourself, reading encyclopedias or any of such things. I think that would waste your time.
Okay. All right, guys. So a question that has come up is how do you score? So how do you score a lot of marks is a question everybody has. Is there any trick that takes you over 600? Or as Himani said, how she wants to score 340 in bio. Is there any trick to scoring high?
that's what you have to focus on. NCRTs a lot to score in order to score above 300, in order to score above 340 in biology. Because most of the questions are from NCRT, therefore to be able to score 340, you need to have your concepts clear, right?
Yeah, like don't think that we can tell you any kind of a shortcut or something like that. There's nothing like that. It's just your hard work and your study that's gonna take you 600 plus. But yeah, just remain focused and study hard. That's all. And wish you luck in this.
Okay.
And guys, remember, like we are getting a lot of questions. Maybe we'll not be able to answer them at the moment, but do subscribe the channel, and we will surely give you the answers individually offline.
Okay. Guys, so thank you very much for your time as Navsheen and Aditya. It's been really inspiring and it's great talking to you guys. I'm sure all the guys watching and all the guys who are going to watch the recorded session as well will benefit greatly from having spoken to two people who have really cracked the exam. Right? So thank you very much for your time. As Navsheen just pointed out, you can subscribe to the channel. We'll continue posting tips and tricks for you guys, things that you can catch in the middle of your studies. Of course, Toppr.com also provides you the resources where you can come and solve questions. You can take mock tests. It's free to sign up, so do come and sign up. And of course, subscribe to the channel to see our future webinars as well as other videos that we'll be posting, including rankers as well as our teachers and experts. Thank you very much for your time, guys, and hope to see you on the next webinar.
So best of luck, guys.
Best of luck.
For your exam.